Just good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, guys. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll discuss regarding your bearing clearance. Somebody just wanted to ask about how to take this clearance, how much the values are. Okay. Only about that, not about complete bearing part. Okay. That we'll do someday later. So general thumb of rule is whenever you have to take the bearing clearance, okay.
सर इस टॉपिक में क्या क्या इंक्लूड होगा मतलब
About all the bearings like main bearing, your crank pin bearing, thrust bearing, not thrust bearing I have already taken. Crossset bearings also I have already taken, but only I'll tell you about the bearing clearance and how to take it, and about auxiliary engine bearing clearances, how to take it without overhauling and with overhauling. Okay, both the cases.
सर आपने अभी बोला ना कि बाद में कुछ कुछ टॉपिक होगा जैसे कि वो बाद में लेंगे
Yeah, somebody only requested for bearing clearance one session, right?
Yes, sir.
For exam purposes, so I'm taking this session, huh? Just for
Okay,
bearing clearances
okay,
part.
okay, sir.
It has to be taken on. Do I have to take on loaded part or non-loaded part?
Non-loaded.
So first, let us consider your main bearing. Okay, ये भी कर लेंगे. Don't worry. Okay. So main bearing. On main bearing, which is my loaded part?
Lower,
Bottom.
bottom है सर lower.
So where I have to take the clearance?
Top.
Top side.
And it is taken by
Filler gauge.
The lead ball or
Perspective filler gauge.
okay. It is taken by telescopic filler gauge, also known as Swedish filler gauge. Okay. Swedish filler gauge भी बोलते हैं उसको, ठीक है? Telescopic filler gauge. And it looks like I'll show you. This is how your telescopic filler gauges will look like. Okay. Like this. Okay. You can see down below I have a filler gauge. Okay. So there will be a long handle, and within this handle, a filler gauge is inserted inside into the top half between your bearing shell and your pin, crank pin. So if suppose this is my crank pin and this is the bearings, okay, this is bottom half, this is my top half. So when at rest, my clearance will be always at top. Agreed? When the engine is at rest, the clearance will always be on top because the crankshaft weight will always be acting on the bottom side, right?
yes, sir.
Clearance will always be on top here. Okay, this is my clearance. So here you have to put this telescopic filler gauge to measure the value of your clearance. Is it clear? Bolo, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll show you how they are taking it. Okay. So, this is the position of your or your crank web that you have to keep. Okay, it is 90 degree after BDC. Okay, so that you have a flat surface where you can sit on the crank webs. Okay, and then you can take this clearance. Is it clear? For taking it, what do you have to do? About 90 degree after BDC, turn the engine. Okay, 90 degree after BDC, so that the webs, the crank webs, will be flat. You can sit on top of it. Agreed? If this is my pin and this is my, what do you say, the con rod. Okay. So you can sit over here, isn't it? On top. Agreed. So 90 degree after BDC, you have to turn the engine, and then by using telescopic filler gauge, take reading. Okay. Now you will be provided with different types of different filler gauges thickness. So you have to choose appropriate according to your clearance value. So normally, how much clearance is there? Now it will depend upon engine to engine. Huh? Okay. This clearance will obviously depend upon engine to engine. I'm telling you about my previous engine. Okay. So right now I'm checking for main bearing. So main bearing clearance was in the range of 0.55 to 0.85 mm. Minimum and maximum clearance is given over here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So what you have to do is कौन सा filler gauge डालोगे सबसे पहले? You will put the minimum one, right? ठीक है. And then you will increase 0.5 करके you will start to increase to put another. Suppose 0.55 is going, then you will put 0.6. Okay. If that is also going, then you can put 0.65. Is it clear? When the
Yes, sir.
when the bearings will be new, this one will be your clearance value, 0.55. Okay. But as your engine is running, bearings are going to wear out. Follow?
Yes, sir.
This bearing is going to little bit wear out. When the bearing is going to wear out, your your crankshaft will lower down slightly, and the clearance value will keep on increasing. Agreed? So the minimum and maximum value are given to you. You will start from the minimum one. Okay. Start from the minimum filler gauge, and then by increasing slightly, you just keep on putting the filler gauge to check how much the clearance is. Okay. Let us see this video in this. They are showing this. You can see right now my crank webs are flat. Agreed? I can climb on top of it
Yes,
on
sir.
the crank webs. Okay. And this is my telescopic filler gauge. Okay. See, the person is sitting over here on the webs. Okay. And he will insert the filler gauge on both the sides, forward and aft. Both sides you have to take. Okay. So see, he's putting for his engine, maybe the minimum value was 0.50. So he's putting that one first. Okay. And you can see this is my main bearing part, isn't it? This is the lube oil supply line. Agreed? Below is this is the main
Yes, sir.
bearing lube oil supply line. Okay. So here you have to insert it between the webs and your main bearing. Okay. You have to insert it down and you have to take the clearance. On both the sides, you have to take forward and aft. Okay. See, he is putting the filler gauge now inside. Okay. It has to be done very carefully, guys. Okay. Because if it got stuck inside it, then it is very difficult. You might have to overhaul the main bearing then. Okay. That is why I'm telling you, very important step is to start from the minimum value of the filler gauge. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and how much it should go, it is also given in the manual. It should go at least 20 mm inside. Okay. And this filler gauge, if you see, where is that? This one. So, how much it is going inside your bearing and your crank pin? Okay, sorry, your journal. Okay, it should go at least 20 mm. Okay, so you should little bit insert inside, not too much also. ये bend हो जाता है. Okay, this will bend. You can see the other bended वाला दिखाया था आपको मैं. So what I'm trying to say is how much you are going to insert it inside your bearing and your journal. Okay, you have to insert it at least 20 mm.
20.
Okay, this much has to be inserted inside. So you can see over here, this is for main bearing, and the clearance value is given over here, maximum and minimum. Okay, 0.55 and 0.85. So you
सर मेरा
see,
स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा छूट गया है सर, इसको आज ही अपलोड करवा दीजिएगा सर, ये लेक्चर।
okay, I am not sure वो कब करेंगे, but I'll upload here in YouTube. Okay, ठीक है. So
ओके।
you can see over here, this is my filler gauge. Okay, he is inserting it inside it, uh, like this. Okay, and you
सर
can see here,
इधर में
it
बीच में
should be
बेरिंग
pushed.
एंड क्रैंकपिन
Huh?
क्रैंकपिन और बेरिंग के बीच में डालेंगे ना इसको।
Between the not crank pin, this is main bearing, right? तो journal जो है आपका,
हाँ जनरल, हाँ सर जनरल।
journal and the bearing. Okay, so you can read it over here. It should maximum you should put 20 mm only. Okay, इससे ज्यादा नहीं आपको डालना है. Is it clear? On both the sides. See, यहाँ अगर मैं forward की तरफ ले रहा हूँ, then I have to take it from the aft side also. Is it clear?
सर उसमें लेंथ का भी रहता है क्या, 20 मंथ का?
Yeah, this how much you are inserting inside. यहाँ पे देखो, यहाँ पे इधर देखो. How
नहीं
much
सर,
you are in.
उसमें इंस्ट्रूमेंट पे ये टेलीस्कोपिक फिलर गेज जो है, इसमें
Hmm.
हमें कैसे पता चलेगा 20 mm के? क्योंकि उस पिक्चर में बस उसका विड्थ का रहता है ना।
नॉर्मली इट इज अबाउट कि आपको अपने अंदाजे से करो, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं डाल देना. ठीक है, दैट इज
अच्छा।
व्हाट इज दे आर ट्राइंग टू से, बिकॉज इफ इट गेट स्ट्रक और समथिंग, देन इट इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू रिमूव इट. क्या कर सकते हो आप, सपोज इफ इट गेट स्ट्रक, समटाइम्स दे आर आस्किंग दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन आल्सो. इफ योर फिलर गेज इज स्ट्रक inside the bearing and the pin, what can you do? So what can you do is, on the opposite
अप्लाई।
side you can, opposite side you can blow air 7 bar ka.
जी सर।
Okay, that could be one thing. If it is still not going, then start your lube oil pump. With lube oil pressure, it can might come out. Agreed?
जी सर।
Or what you can do, try to put a thinner filler gauge. Okay, थोड़ा सा साइड से thinner filler gauge से इसको try to push it outside. ठीक है. If it is not coming, then the last option, the last resort that you have is only one thing, that is to overhaul the main bearing. Is it clear?
जी सर।
Okay. Remember that maximum 20 mm. Okay, not more than that. You have to push it inside. Okay, so that's why it is a very critical step. Okay, because once suppose it has been done, obviously you will be doing it in port and all, and suppose it got struck, then main bearing removal is also a very very big job. Okay, so आपका ship भी delay होगा and all those things will come. So you can see over here he's inserting the filler gauge inside. Okay, and checking the. Is it clear? Main bearing clearance, where
यस
to
सर।
take,
हाँ
how
जी
to
सर।
take, what instrument we are using, and what are the values. Okay, sometimes they are asking about the values. Okay, कभी बार पूछते हैं. Normally for you they will not ask for main engine probably, but they will ask for auxiliary engine maybe. Okay, clearances value. Is it clear?
यस सर।
Okay. both forward and aft has to be checked.
सर ये ब्रिज केस से कैसे लेते हैं?
आएंगे, उस पर भी आएंगे. Okay, both forward and aft. So suppose this is your main bearing, one main bearing. So आपको you have to take it from this side also. Okay, you have to take it from the other side also. Is it clear? Bolo guys, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. There are other methods also for taking it. That is your bridge gauge that I will explain you later on. Okay, अभी confuse हो जाओगे. Let us discuss the other now.
सर तो उसको थोड़ा सा छोटा कर देंगे, स्क्रीनशॉट लेते हैं. जी सर, थैंक यू.
Now, why I am turning it to before BDC? Only so that I can set on the webs, right? There is no other, benefit of it. Okay, only I can sit on top of my web and put my telescope killer gauge. That is why I'm doing this. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत आगे पीछे होगा, then it is not going to make any difference because load is always acting on the bottom side and clearance will always be on the top side, right?
Yes sir. Sir, but in one of the lecture you said that the top part is sometimes inaccessible.
For auxiliary engine.
The oxygen. Okay.
Now we'll go for the other one. That is your. Is this clear to everyone? Anyone who has any issue with this main bearing clearance pay?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I'll move forward then. Okay. The second one, that is your big end bearing, or also known as crank pin bearing. So big end bearing loaded part is
Top, sir.
so clearance will be taken at
Bottom.
what I'm using to take the clearance.
Filler
Filler
gauge.
gauge.
So normally the values which you have, okay, obviously I'm telling you these all values will depend upon ship to ship. I'm giving you my ship's values. So normally I should not write value. Is for crank pin 0.45 to 0.80 mm. Okay. So again, minimum and maximum values are given to you. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes sir, clear.
Yes, sir.
Let me show you how they are taking it. Both, it is also taken at forward and aft. Okay.
So what is this written loaded part?
Loaded part means when your piston, or suppose this is your piston rod, this is your cross head. Okay. This is your con rod. So the weight of everything will be coming on to my
Topmost bearing.
top bearing. Okay. So bottom bearing में I will be having clearance. यहाँ पे आपको clearance मिलेगा. ठीक है. And then you have main bearing. ठीक है. ऐसे याद रखो, इसमें आपको bottom part loaded रहता है, इसमें top part loaded रहता है, and again for main bearing bottom part loaded रहता है. So whichever side it is bottom loaded part, opposite to that will be the clearance, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
What you have to do here is you have to turn the engine to BDC in this case. Okay. And from where, which filler gauge I will choose first?
Smallest
The
width.
0.451, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Smallest, yes.
And one by one, we will keep it increasing to check
Five
the
mm.
actual clearance. You can see over here now. What is this part here? नीचे क्या है ये?
Crankcase वो
Blue boil से इसमें.
This is known as diaphragm, right?
जी sir.
Okay. So you can see here when you will take the clearance, you can see the clearance between the pin and the bearing. Okay. So both side has to be taken forward and aft. Okay. Can you see the clearance here now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the bearing. Okay. White color bearing, and here is my clearance, and this is my crank pin. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So here I have to put a filler gauge inside to check how much clearance it is both on both the sides, forward and aft. Like this. Okay. So one by one, you have to keep on increasing slowly too, so that your uh, you know filler gauge do not get stuck. And what will you do if the filler gauge gets stuck?
We will blow
The
air
blue
from the
air,
opposite side. Either we will
blue
use
boil,
smaller
Filler
वो
gauge to
blue
size
remove
boil.
का filler gauge. Yes sir.
or lube
Uh,
oil pressure, and if
yes sir.
not, then you have to overhaul the bearing. Okay, so four things you have to do. In ये भी पूछते हैं. Okay, this is also sometime asked, if the filler gauge is stuck, what you will do. So these four things you should remember, and you should say in the order, like first I will use the smaller filler gauge to remove the you know struck filler
सर
gauge.
एक
If it is not coming out, I will use high pressure or 7-bar air control air that you are having on board, service air. You will use that, blow it from the opposite side, try to remove it. If it is still not coming out, then you go for lube oil pump. You will start. So with lube oil pressure, might come out. Okay. Still it is not coming out, then the last resort is to overhaul the bearing. Somebody was saying something.
Sir, one question was asked that why the clearance are mandatory to check, and what all are safeties related to it, to the main engine or for the auxiliary engine or any engine which are running on board ship, sir.
बेयरिंग क्लियरेंस मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम लगा रहता है आपके शिप में? Have you ever
Yes, sir.
seen bearing clearance monitoring system?
Yes, sir, sir.
Bearing temperature होगा, ठीक है? It is directly depending upon the clearance also, the temperature of the bearings. Okay, so okay, I will answer it later. ठीक है, पहले clearance कर ले.
Yes sir.
हाँ, okay. अच्छा चलो अभी आंसर कर लेते हैं. Tell me what is the load bearing capacity का फॉर्मूला क्या है? This is the load carrying capacity of bearing. Okay, so what was your answer?
New
What was your
one.
question? Question क्या था?
Why the why
Clearance
to
is
take the
important.
bearing clearances are important regarding the safeties of the main engine, auxiliary
That
engine, or
means
any engine?
that means clearance, how it is, why it is important, right? First of all, if clearance is not there, will there be, or if the clearance is high, will there be hydrodynamic lubrication happening?
No, sir.
Okay, आपका oil तो
No, sir.
squeeze out हो जाएगा ना, isn't it? Oil will come out. As soon as you will start the pump, oil will start coming out from your both the sides, and they will be, difficult to maintain hydrodynamic lubrication. So you have to have, less amount of clearance, but you cannot give too much less also, because when the things are going to expand, you need to have some clearance for that also, isn't it? Bolo guys, right? And this is the formula for the load carrying capacity of the bearing, which is mu RL, and square by C, where mu is your viscosity,
Viscosity.
R is your radius of the bearing, L
Radius.
is the length of the bearing, N is the number of RPM at which your engine is running, and C is your clearance. Okay. So if clearance reduces, my load bearing capacity will increase, but it will be
ओमेगा क्या है
difficult.
सर? ओमेगा
Mu is viscosity of the oil.
Viscosity.
ये म्यू है सर कि ओमेगा?
mu. Okay. So
ओके सर.
if clearance reduces, you can see the load carrying capacity increases, right? So normally, if I tell you that this was my lowest clearance, so when the clearance is this much, my load carrying capacity of the bearing is high. Agreed? As the bearing, what you say, clearance keeps on increasing, what will happen to my load bearing capacity?
It will increase.
Decrease होगा ना?
Decrease.
Inversely proportional है, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. But you have to understand that if you, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि अगर I have to increase the load bearing capacity, then I can decrease as much as I want the clearance. No, you have to give some clearance for the expansion of components, isn't it? Also, your lube oil is going to expand when it is going to heat up. Also, your crank pin is going to, or your crankshaft is going to expand, isn't it? So some clearance has to be there. Also, in order to have clearance between both the things. Suppose this is my pin and this is my complete bearing. When it is running, you have complete isolation between these two. Only lube oil film is there. That is hydrodynamic lubrication, right? When it is completely separated from the bearings, that is hydrodynamic lubrication. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
I cannot reduce it too much, because if I reduce it too much, then my oil will heat up more. Okay, oil heat करेगा बहुत ज़्यादा. And if that's why your temperature monitoring systems are given. Okay. So if the clearance reduces, that it is going to heat up more. And when it is going to heat up, it is going to have a severe consequences on your bearings also. Okay. Also, suppose if the clearance is increasing now, so the oil film will squeeze out
Yes, sir.
because of the load.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want the oil to be squeezed out because of the load, right? So it will be difficult to maintain a hydrodynamic lubrication in case the clearance is too large.
No.
Okay. So Keshav, you asked the question, right? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What is the R over here?
Radius of the bearing.
It is okay.
Suppose this is the what do you say? This is my complete bearing, top half and bottom half. So this will be the radius.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And length, in the sense, suppose this is the bearing. This will be the length. ऐसे है ना, bearing is it's like, isn't it? Circular में बनाऊं तो ऐसे करके. So this I can consider as length.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When I will teach you about bearing chapter, no, then I will go little bit deeper into this concept about bearing capacity.
Sir, they asked the question regarding this, that what is the means, up to what mark with the clearance is adaptable, that wear and tear rate you can keep in mind, and after that calculation of that how much clearance is means what you call give a free for running
मेरे
the
को
engine.
समझ नहीं आ रहा है actually, Manish. I am not able to understand what you're saying. Up to
Sir,
what?
they are asking regarding the safety, that up to what level the clearance is given, means if it is not in the up to the mark, if we are checking the clearance and it's coming between 0.45 and 0.80, then it's okay, but it's coming if it's coming 0.91,
Then change it.
0.100.
Then you have to replace it. I told you the bearing clearance will, bearing clearance will increase. What is
Okay.
happening to my load bearing capacity? If bearing clearance increases, if C
Load
is
bearing
increasing,
capacity decreases.
Decrease. It will decrease.
decrease हो
Decrease.
जाएगा. Also, the oil will squeeze out. Bare metal to metal contact will starts to happen. Okay. So consequences you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now मैं भूल गया मैं कहाँ पे था. Turn engine to BDC and take clearance. So I've showed you the how they are taking clearance, right? Okay. With the filler gauge, we are going to take clearance. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now crosshead, obviously I have taken. Okay. Crosshead bearing. I have taken 2 sessions for crosshead, right? Already few days back only. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
in that I have showed you the other clearances apart from the bearing clearance, right?
Yes, sir.
So here the loaded part is what?
The loaded part is bottom.
Bottom, sir.
Always bottom. Okay. And clearance will be taken at
Top half by filler gauge.
Sir,
taken by
Filler gauge.
Filler gauge, sir.
taken both forward and aft. Okay.
सर
Now
इसमें
for this,
28
हाँ बोलो.
सर इसमें अपना 28 ऐसे लोकेशन ऐसे पॉइंट्स बताए थे जहाँ पे हमें ये क्लियरेंस लेने होते हैं.
That is different part. ठीक है. This I'm only talking about bearing right now. Crossset bearing. ठीक है. Guide and
Okay.
shoes and slippers, that is different now. Okay. वो उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं. Only the bearing clearance. Okay. That I've taken separately and very detailedly. I've taken that topic. ठीक है. Maybe
Yes, sir.
सर उस
10
वाले
days or
क्लियरेंस
12 days back.
सर उस वाले क्लियरेंस को हम लोग गाइड क्लियरेंस बोलेंगे ना.
Between बहुत सारे थे ना यार. Just not guide. I have told
सर
you
सर
there
उस
also
वीडियो,
how
हाँ सर,
to
पर वीडियो में जैसे आपने बताया था ना, वीडियो भी दिखाया था, उसमें गाइड
yes
क्लियरेंस करके लिखा हुआ था.
guide and rail. ठीक है.
सर तो मतलब नोट्स में मैंने ऐसे मतलब गाइड्स करके लिखा है तो चलेगा, मतलब कि कैसे
चलेगा
मतलब.
चलेगा.
हाँ तो मतलब कि सर्वे को गाइड बोल सकते हैं ना.
रेल बोलते हैं जो आपका ये ट्रैक्स रहता है, राइट.
हाँ सर.
clearances on the
ठीक है.
crosshead.
और गाइड शूज बोलते हैं जो आपका उसके ऊपर ऊपर नीचे जा रहा है. दैट आई शोड यू यार. जस्ट
हाँ
बी.
सर.
ठीक है ना.
हाँ सर.
आई डोंट
Crossed
वांट
slippers,
टू.
no sir.
ओके. क्रॉसेड स्लीपर्स, यस. ओके. यू कैन दे आर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट नेम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट थिंग्स. ठीक है. तो
यस यस
कोई रेल बोल देते हैं, कोई ट्रैक्स बोलता है इनको. ठीक है. शूज को कोई स्लीपर्स बोल देता है, कोई शूज बोलता है. ठीक है. सो वैल्यू फॉर योर क्रॉसेड बेयरिंग इज
0.45,
02.
40 to 0.8.
ठीक है. दिस इज फॉर माई लास्ट इंजन. ठीक है. ये डिफर करते हैं गाइस. ठीक है. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस डिफर्स अकॉर्डिंग टू इंजन स्लाइटली अप एंड डाउन होता है. ठीक है. सो यू कैन टेक फॉर दिस यू हैव टू टर्न द इंजन. Now loaded is always the bottom, so you can take at any position of your engine, but for your own benefit, turn the engine 90 degree after BDC. ठीक है. थोड़ा सा easier हो जाता है. और you can take it at complete BDC also. There is no such rule that आपको किसी पे रखना है. ठीक है. Accessible रहना चाहिए आपको बस. ठीक है. I'll show you. So this is my crosshead, right? And I've showed you. We are taking on the top half between the bearing and the crosshead pin. ठीक है. And the location is understood to you where it is. What is this plate over here? What is this known as?
Thrust plate.
दस
Thrust
प्लेट.
plate. Okay, this is a thrust plate so that your pin does not move forward and aft, है ना.
यस
Yes,
सर.
उसको
yes.
stop करने के लिए this thrust plate is given, and in this thrust plate itself a hole is given. Okay, so you can see the
And that
clearance
is,
right now, right?
yes, sir.
You can see the clearance. You will insert a filler gauge both in the forward direction, also in the aft direction, and you will note it down. So you can see right now they have inserted a filler gauge. ठीक है. So is it understood? Similar यहाँ पे
Yes.
भी वही करना है. First the minimum value वाला filler gauge you have to insert it, and then you will slow and slightly increase the value of the filler gauge. If it is going freely, then you will see it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubts so far?
नहीं सर, सर एक बार वो फर्स्ट स्लाइड से बोल देंगे, स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेंगे प्लीज। हाँ सर।
सर वो बट क्लियरेंस वगैरह भी बताएंगे अभी?
That is piston ring clearances, right?
हाँ जी।
हाँ सर, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
So we go for auxiliary engine now, if this is clear.
यस।
Okay, the values are given to you. ठीक है, कितना कितना values रहता है, normally sometimes they ask. ठीक है, and आपको ये पता होना चाहिए which is the loaded part, then only you can be able to say which is the unloaded part. ठीक है, non loaded part कौन सा है, and you should know by which you are, by what instrument you are taking. So दो का तो फिलर गेज है और एक का टेलीस्कोपिक फिलर गेज है. टेलीस्कोपिक फिलर गेज इज आल्सो नोन एज
मेन
स्वीडिश
बेरिंग।
फिलर गेज. स्वीडिश फिलर गेज. ठीक है,
Yes,
स्वीडिश
sir.
फिलर गेज भी बोलते हैं टेलीस्कोपिक फिलर गेज को. And you have now seen how it looks like, right? ठीक है,
Yes, sir.
you have
Sir,
different this thing, and with that
apart from all these, इसके अलावा भी कोई और वो मेथड है क्लियरेंसेस
yes
लेने के?
yes मेन बेरिंग के लिए है. ठीक है, आई विल कम टू दैट लेटर. ठीक है,
Yes, sir.
in Sulzer and all you are using bridge cage and also
सर
I
ये
will
टर्निंग ऑफ इंजन एट टीडीसी लिखा हुआ है या ए बी टीडीसी लिखा हुआ है?
after BDC. समझ जाओ ना. ठीक है,
सर
आफ्टर
कुछ और
बी।
मेथड्स है क्रॉसेट बेरिंग का लेने के लिए?
like what?
Any methods was there? Only filler gauge method you said. So some
For
lead wire
crosshead,
method something.
for crosshead it is only filler gauge. Main bearing can be taken by your bridge gauge also. ठीक है,
Hmm.
or your what you say dial gauge also. ठीक है, for main bearing you have different options to do it, but this is the most basic thing. Okay, the most easiest way to take the clearance for main bearing is by telescopic filler gauge. ठीक है,
Yes sir.
I will come to bridge gauge. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा confusing लगेगा, but we will come to that. So can I move forward with your auxiliary engine now?
Yes sir.
Now, when they ask you about auxiliary engine, mostly they will, concentrate for you guys for auxiliary engine only. They can ask you this question in multiple ways, like after overhauling, how will you take it? Okay. Well, suppose you are overhauling the engine, how will you take the clearances at that time? And second case, he will give you that you cannot overhaul the engine. Okay. And you have to take the clearances. Then how will you take it? Okay. So we'll talk about auxiliary engine. Does anyone need any other, feedback from me for this part? Bolo, everything is clear with this?
हाँ जी सर।
Okay, we'll go for auxiliary engine. So auxiliary engine first, main bearing. Okay. So this first I will tell you about if we can overall. During overhauling, how will you take this clearances and all? Okay. That means he has given you the condition that you can overhaul the engine, and that time you have to calculate this. Okay. So main bearing, which will be the loaded part?
Bottom.
बॉटम।
Sir,
Bottom parts.
bottom.
So clearance is top.
टॉप।
ठीक है, clearance top वहीं पे लेना है, but it is not accessible. ठीक है, आपको you will not even get enough space to put your hand also there. ठीक है, in your AE to take your clearance while checking this main bearing part. Okay, if you see over here this picture. All right, so here is something your main bearing comes on top. There is no space to put even your hand, so you cannot take it. Okay, by any filler gauge or something, there is no space at all. So what you need to do now on your main engine, the bottom part is attached to your bed plate, जो आपका grider है, transverse grider.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so if this is your bed plate, you have like transverse grider welded on the bed plate. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So bottom half cannot go anywhere. You have to remove the top half in case of main engine to have a look at your crankshaft or the main journal and all. But in auxiliary engine, we have monoblock structure.
Yes, sir.
What is monoblock structure?
तो सिंगली वो कास्टेड रहेगा, नीचे
Yes.
वाला वो
The upper bearing half is casted to the complete
Monoblock.
engine structure only. ठीक है? Upper bearing half is casted on this thing. Lower bearing can be
Remove.
drop down. ठीक है? नीचे drop कर सकते हैं उसको. That is the difference between your auxiliary engine and your this thing. Okay, I'll show you. Hold on. So this I have already taken in auxiliary engine class also. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Those who have attended my auxiliary engine class, I have taken in very detail about this. Okay. Leave it. So what you need to do is, normally this half is screwed with the help of
Hydraulic bolts.
hydraulic bolts. Okay. These are the hydraulic bolts which are screwed like this. And there is also side bolt. Remember?
Yes, sir. बाहर से होता है सर.
Side bolt. So if I'll show you in here, maybe. So you can see this bolts over here. ये bolts दिख रहे हैं, ठीक है?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is holding your bottom half of your main bearing, ठीक है? It is also holding your bottom half of the main bearing. It is also held by the main bearing studs. These are my main bearing studs, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is side stud. So in order to lower my bottom bearing half, I have to remove these two side studs and my main bearing studs. Agreed?
यस सर.
ठीक है. First of all, you cannot take it by your filler gauges. ठीक है? You understood, because there is no space at all to put your hand or something. Agreed?
यस सर.
Hold on. You can see it over here. Okay. There is no space ना, यहाँ से हाथ डाल सकता हूँ क्या मैं to access my main bearing? There is no space, right? You cannot do it. So what you need to do is, first of all, you have to remove the side bolt. Okay, you have to put hydraulic jack here and your hydraulic spacer and your jack. Okay, and give around, for this, how much it was, 900 bar. Okay, pressure was tightening pressure, so slightly more than 900 bar, and you will remove both of the studs. Is it clear? First of all, remove the hydraulic bolts. This is understood. I think I have taken multiple time how hydraulic bolts and your this thing is working, right? Is that concept clear to everyone about hydraulic
जैक्स एंड ऑल.
jacks, right? That is
यस.
concept is clear to everyone, right?
यस.
If it is not, I can take some day later. Okay, maybe after this thing finishes, then I will take it. So is there anyone who does not understand how a hydraulic jack works? Speak up, guys. Is there anyone who does not understand how a hydraulic jack works?
हाँ जी सर, एक बार अगर टाइम मिलेगा तो प्लीज थोड़ा सा।
ओके ओके, एंड ऑफ द क्लास वी विल ट्राई, ठीक है।
ओके।
सो नॉर्मली व्हाट क्या क्या करता है आपका हाइड्रोलिक जैक, आपके स्टड को एलोंगेट करता है। Okay, it elongate your stud. So when the stud is getting elongated, so this nut will be free of my body. Agreed?
यस सर। यस सर।
And then I will loosen it up few turns, and then I will again release the pressure. The bolt will go back to its initial position, but now the nut is free from the body, so I can remove it by hand. Okay. So first step will always be remove side stud.
हाँ जी सर।
पहले तो side stud nut निकालो with use of hydraulic jack. ठीक है, then remove the stud. हाथ से निकल जाएगा, उसके बाद you just turn it anti clockwise and remove these both stud one by one. ठीक है, together actually. ठीक है, this stud has to be removed. So now once the stud is removed, now you will go for the main bearing studs. ठीक है, stud will not be able to remove. Now you don't have to remove the stud, you just have to loosen up this what do you say, hydraulic nuts, so that this bearing cap will drop down. Agreed?
यस।
ठीक है, suppose if I drop or if I loosen up my this stud over here somewhere, then the this cap will come down. Agreed?
यस सर। यस सर।
Okay, so what you have to do again, you have to first of all take the weight of your
मैं
lower
चेन
bearing
ब्लॉक
cap. Okay, lower bearing cap का you have to take weight. Normally a special tool is given to take the weight. अदरवाइज यहाँ पे दो आई बोल्ट्स लगाने के प्रोविजन दिए रहते हैं अलग अलग, इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स विल गिव डिफरेंट डिफरेंट थिंग्स with what you can do it. ठीक है, so there will be a special instrument given to take the weight of this. By use of the chain block, you are going to take the weight of the bearing cap. It is not a, हल्का नहीं रहता, it's very heavy. So always use a chain block. Okay, now you will put a hydraulic jack here and you will pressurize it. The pressure for
यस सर।
opening was 100, 1100 bar.
बार।
Okay, so once you give that opening pressure, you will loosen up the nuts. Once you loosen up the nuts, okay, I will just remove all these things. Once you loosen up your nuts, then the nuts is going to be coming here somewhere. Okay, and when the nuts are going to come here, this is also going to drop down.
यस सर, बॉटम अप।
Okay, slightly you can slack your chain blocks. Okay, and it will come down. Then you have to use remove stud. Okay, so it is take weight of bottom half bearing housing. So those who have done Aux Engine with me, na, ठीक है, they will be able to understand it much more in detail. ठीक है, क्या हो रहा है, ठीक है. So now you have to take the weight. After that, remove or loosen up main bearing nuts. Okay, so and now the bearing cap will fall down or it will come down. Lower bearing housing will come down. Agreed?
Yes,
Bolo.
sir.
Okay, now you have to use lead ball or lead wire. लेड वायर को रोल करके you have to form lead ball. Okay, specifically 3 lead balls has to be made. So lead wire को आप रोल करो, ठीक है. Your बत्ती साहब will be having all these wires, okay, lead wires. So you have to roll it, okay, and make it in a shape of ball. Okay, and now you're going to keep these balls on the bottom half, ऐसे, ठीक है. And now again you are going to tighten up your चेन ब्लॉक से इसको दोबारा ऊपर लेके जाओ and again screw it here and tighten it up to 1100 bar pressure. So after a time, what will happen is your crankshaft is going to be lifted up. Agreed?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And these balls are going to be squeezed. Can you measure the
Vernier caliper.
thickness of it? Thickness measure करो by vernier caliper.
सर सिंगल बॉल यूज नहीं करेंगे?
Normally for this thing we use 3, ठीक है, कि आपको ज्यादा एक्यूरेट, और तीनों का एवरेज ले लेते हो फिर, ठीक है, थिकनेस का, all the 3 thickness average you will take, ठीक है, by measure thickness by vernier caliper.
सर ये बॉल कितनी मोटी बनाएंगे, मतलब कितनी बड़ी बनाएंगे?
नो
मेरे
प्रॉब्लम, यू
पास
कैन मेक इट थोड़ा बहुत थिक बना लो, क्लियरेंस के हिसाब से ना, वैल्यूज क्या है यहाँ पे क्लियरेंस के हिसाब से, उससे ज्यादा ही रहना चाहिए ना, जितना क्लियरेंस है उसकी थिकनेस से तो ज्यादा ही रहना चाहिए. एग्री?
यस सर.
जस्ट ओपन इट. So this is you are doing when you are overhauling the engine. हाँ, जब आप overhauling कर रहे हो, then you can do this process. But sometimes surveyors specifically ask you to know without overhauling, just how can you do it? ठीक है? So that thing also I will tell you. Let me just show you once. Okay. Can you see over here? They are already removed now. The side bolts. Okay, side bolts are already removed. This is removing of here counterweights. वैल्यूज मैं आपको बता दूंगा बाद में, ठीक है. सो इज दिस अंडरस्टूड? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मेन बेरिंग का बोलो, इज दिस अंडरस्टूड? मेन बेरिंग,
यस सर.
ऑक्सिलरी इंजन मेन बेरिंग, हाउ टू टेक क्लियरेंस. वेरी डिफिकल्ट, ठीक है, इतना इजी नहीं है ये, इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज हैज टू बी टेकन. कैन
सर
आई गो फॉर द
इसमें
नेक्स्ट वन?
सर
सर
ये
इसमें
वाइल
हम लोग
ओवरऑलिंग है ना?
व्हाट?
वाइल ओवरऑलिंग का ही है.
ऑब्वियसली व्हाइल ओवरऑलिंग, राइट. विदाउट ओवरऑलिंग वाला आई विल टेल यू लेटर, ठीक है.
ओके सर.
कैन आई मूव
Sir,
टू योर क्रैंक पिन?
without overhauling means that's scooping up method, right?
यू हैव टू जैक अप, ठीक है, आई विल कम टू दैट, ठीक है.
Hmm.
नाउ द सेकंड इज कम योर बिग एंड बेरिंग
रैंकिंग
और क्रैंक पिन बेरिंग.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
यस.
सर वो जो आपने बताया कि वापस उसको टॉर्क उसको टाइटन करेंगे, तो उस केस में
Yes.
जो हमारा साइड नट था उसको उसको तो नहीं करेंगे ना, मतलब टाइटन.
No, you can leave that. Okay, just tighten
ओके.
this
ओके
bearing
सर. ओके.
housing. ठीक है, इसको टाइट कर दो. And then again you have to loosen it, again drop it. तभी bearing balls निकाल पाओगे दोबारा से, वो lead balls, right? And
यस
then
सर.
only you can take the thickness. And then again you have to put it back, lift up, and again tighten it up. It is not a easy task. ठीक है, headache है.
ओके
Okay.
सर.
So loaded part in your big end or the crank pin bearing is which one?
Top one.
Top one. Top
So
bottom.
clearance is taken at
Bottom.
now. Generally, up it can be taken by filler gauge also. Okay, this is without overhauling. You can do it. Okay, with overhauling, I will tell you. Where is it? Okay. So obviously, this has to be taken while your engine is at BDC. ठीक है, BDC पे इंजन रहना चाहिए. And आप यहाँ पे you can put it right now it is in BDC or TDC in this picture. What do you think?
BDC.
BDC sir, BDC.
So
BDC पे
after
ना.
BDC. हल्का
No,
सा
it is
after BDC.
BDC. Yeah, it is BDC because the crank webs are pointing
Down.
upwards, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Counterweights
Upward.
are upward.
Yeah. So this is BDC. Now you can insert it. यहाँ पे तो हाथ डालने का you have enough space, right? You can insert a filler gauge just like your main engine will how you took it, right? Both forward and aft you have to take it. Is it clear?
सर
Yes.
एक
बोलो.
क्वेश्चन
Is
पूछ
it clear?
सकता हूँ क्या सर?
हाँ बोलो
सर
बोलो.
ये मतलब मैं पहले पूछना था लेकिन अभी याद आया सर, ये काउंटर वेट्स एग्जैक्टली होता किस लिए है सर ये?
Okay. Tell me guys जिसको पता है.
For balancing the weight, sir.
आपका क्या
वेट
रहता है
ऑफ
ना
व्हाट?
वाइब्रेशंस होते हैं. ठीक है. सो काउंटर
हाँ जी.
वेट is your first degree of moment compensator. ठीक है. So when an engine is running, lot of unbalanced forces are generated. You will understand it. You might have not taken till now vibration class, right? Vibration नहीं पढ़ा है अभी
हाँ
तक,
जी
right?
सर, हाँ जी.
So in that I
नहीं
have
सर.
told about all those things. ठीक है, like what all the unbalanced forces are being generated and why counterweights are given. ठीक है, it is to balance out the first order of moment compensator. ठीक है, this is known as first order moment compensator because it revolves with the same speed as of your engine, right? So it
ओके
will
सर.
balance out your unbalanced uh, forces that are being
फोर्सेस.
generated when the engine is running, but it will not be able to balance out all the things, all the forces, but a lot of things, a lot of forces will be balanced out. Okay.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
Yeah. Just consult once vibration class, you will understand it. Okay. Much more in
ओके
detail.
सर.
They have taken in detail.
ओके सर.
So clearance is at bottom. You can take it by filler gauge. Normally without overhauling also you can take it. But if during overhauling, how you're going to take it? So this is my suppose bearing half. Okay, of my condor. This is the big end part. Okay, I have removed the bearings and I have to tighten it up. ठीक है, टाइट कर दिया. Are we taking the diameters here?
They're at
Diameter
5
liters?
points. Yes, at 5 different points.
At 5 different points, we are taking diameters, right? So we
Yes.
are taking diameter, that means, right? So I will take this diameter. Now, can I check? I am also checking bearing thickness by inside micrometer. Bearing thickness लेते हैं हम. That is why this session was more applicable those who have attended my this session, auxiliary engine session. So here is it. This one. Hold on. main engine. Okay, leave it. So we are taking this diameters now, right? Ovality check करने के लिए. Agreed. We are taking the diameters at 5 different points. Agreed. So I can take this diameter. I can check the bearing thickness by inside micrometer. Okay. So once I have taken the thickness, am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So you have taken this distance. You have taken the thickness of this thing. So if I am adding, suppose bearings keeps go. If I add, because I have taken the thickness, I have to subtract it from this particular distance. Agreed? Bolo. Suppose the bearing thickness
Yes,
is
yes, sir.
x. This was y. So y minus x will give me internal part. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
बोलो. ठीक है. Y minus x. See, normally when they will ask you how to take this, you just go for the filler gauge part. But if he tells you specifically that your con rod is kept in front of you, okay, how will you check now its clearance? That is what I'm telling you. Okay. Suppose it is being overhauled, okay, and it is kept like this in front of you. How you are going to check the clearance of this bearing of this crank pin bearing? ठीक है. तो मैंने इसका डायमीटर लिया है. एग्रीड? बोलो गाइस, इज दिस क्लियर?
सर एक बार फिर से, सर एक बार फिर से बोलिए.
सर
वाई कैसे, सर वाई आपने गलत बना दिया था क्या उसमें?
वाई सी विदाउट बेयरिंग.
तो वो
दिस
ऊपर होगा ना.
पिक्चर इज विदाउट बेयरिंग राइट नाउ. ये विदाउट बेयरिंग है अभी. दिख रहा है आपको? दिस
यस
पिक्चर
सर.
इज विदाउट
हाँ जी.
बेयरिंग. ठीक है. सो
यस.
suppose this is the one, okay, and bearings are not there in this at the moment. Okay, bearings are not there. So this I am considering as y. Agreed?
यस सर.
thickness of bearing I have taken. Okay, suppose it is x, so I will multiply it by 2. Okay, multiply by 2. So y minus 2x, will it give the internal part now? अगर bearing लगा दूं इसमें मैं, suppose I have put the bearings now. So जो बचा हुआ रीजन है उसका मेरे को एरिया मिल जाएगा और
यस सर.
लेंथ मिल जाएगा इसका. एग्रीड?
सर व्हाई डिड यू से y माइनस 2x सर? मतलब अगर बेयरिंग का
2x
थिकनेस और
बिकॉज
उसका
दोनों
थिकनेस माइनस
दोनों
करेंगे
तरफ
तो
थिकनेस है ना. इट इज ऑन द टॉप साइड आल्सो, बॉटम साइड आल्सो ना. टू हाफ्स बेयरिंग्स है ना. एग्रीड?
मतलब ऊपर ऊपर हाफ लोअर हाफ का, इसलिए आपने 2x
अपर
लिखा सर.
हाफ लोअर हाफ यू कैन डू. उसका x ले लो, ज्यादा नहीं कंफ्यूज होना. 2x भी छोड़ो. 1 + 2. सपोज अपर बेयरिंग का क्लियरेंस इज 1, लोअर बेयरिंग का क्लियरेंस इज 2. थिकनेस सॉरी. ठीक है. सो नाउ इट कैन बी.
ओके सर, समझ गए. ओके ओके.
समझ गए? ठीक है. If I consider this as x now,
यस सर.
okay, now x will be equals to y minus 1 + 2. Agreed? ठीक है.
यस सर.
Now your right now crank pin also will be, crank pin का भी हम लेते हैं diameters by inside micrometers.
यस.
Okay.
यस सर. 3.
Crank pin का diameters you are taking at inside micrometer. आप diameters लेते हो during the overhauling time. ठीक है. So please consult the overhauling class also for that. Okay. So in that is why I wanted to take auxiliary engine before. तो bearings समझना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. So you will take this diameter also. So if I subtract this diameter from my x value, will I get clearance?
यस सर.
Can everyone visualize? Will I get the clearance if I subtract my crank pin diameter from this x part? What I've
The crank pin can you show in any picture?
crank pin is, आपने connecting rod निकाल दिया तो जो बचता है वो crank pin है, right? These are my webs, crank webs. This is my main journal. यहाँ पे main bearing रहेगा, right? सो
Yes, sir.
अगर मैंने अपना कॉन रॉड निकाल दिया है तो वट एवर पिन ऑन विच इट इज देयर दैट इज क्रैंक पिन. एग्रीड.
uh,
I will not be having a crank pin photo. Normally हम उसको straight away we will put a cloth on top of it as soon as we overhaul it. ठीक है.
क्रैंक शाफ्ट में उसमें दिख जाएगा इसको.
इसमें एक्चुअली काफी डार्क है ये फोटोज. I have somewhere but I have to now search. Let us not waste time. ठीक है. Okay, I'll show you it.
तो एक शिप का पिक्चर नहीं है बट नॉर्मल वैसा है
ये रहा.
वो.
So you can see right now I'm taking the diameter of it, right, with my inside micrometer crank pin का. Can you see it?
yes, yes, yes.
हाँ. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is, I will take another picture maybe. इसको zoom कर देते हैं. This one. थोड़ा photos are of low quality here, but you can visualize it. Number 5 unit, you can see I am holding a inside micrometer and I'm checking the diameter of my crank pin. Is it clear?
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Between
So
this and bearing is the clearance.
yes. ठीक है. So आपने उसका diameter ले लिया. Now you have to subtract this diameter from this x part. This is my x, isn't it? ये x है. Agreed. That we
X
are
जो
already
आपने दिखाया
finding.
था ना सर, वो कॉन रॉड निकाल के बाहर रखा था सर, उसमें जो अंदर वाला पार्ट था ना वही.
Yes. उसमें bearing का भी आपको add करना पड़ेगा because clearance के लिए you have to, let me show you that part also. That if I have taken a photograph.
मतलब सर y-2x जो आएगा और फिर उसमें ये वाला माइनस करेंगे ना.
Yes, you have to minus subtract it. Then only you will get clearance. ठीक है. यहाँ पे अच्छा नहीं है फोटो एक्चुअली. रीसाइज किए हुए फोटोज हैं. ठीक है. Okay, leave it. I will show you later on. So is it clear first of all what I have done? जिसको नहीं समझ आया बोलो एक बार. I will go one more time. एक बार
हाँ सर,
दोबारा
एक
बोल.
बार और रिपीट कर दीजिए सर, एक बार
ठीक
रिपीट कर दीजिए.
ठीक है. Suppose without the bearing, this is my big end part. I have tightened it to the hydraulic pressure of 900 bar. Suppose for it 900 bar was there. I have tightened it. Okay. Now can I check this diameter by inside micrometer?
उसमें बेयरिंग नहीं है ना सर, मतलब आप
Outside
उस बात.
micrometer से outside micrometer से can I check the diameter?
Outside mechanism, sir.
यस सर.
Okay. Suppose इसको सब मिटा देता हूँ मैं. ठीक है. Suppose this diameter I will take as A. ठीक है. A आया. ठीक है. This diameter what I have taken by outside micrometer. ठीक है. Now bearings are out. Can I check the bearing thickness by
Yes, sir.
inside micrometer? उसका भी दिखा देता हूँ अगर विजुलाइज नहीं हो रहा है. Might have taken maybe somewhere else. In Aux Engine overhauling class I have shown that part, right? Thickness part. चलो. So bearing का thickness you are going to check by
आउटसाइड में.
inside micrometer. ठीक है. So upper half you will take separately, lower half you will take separately. दो halves में रहता है bearing halves, right? So let us take one is upper half, two is for lower half. Both will give you the complete diameter. Agreed? Complete thickness.
यस सर.
Now if suppose this is my one green color part and this yellow color part and green color part is 2, so whatever is remaining inside now, okay, this particular part, ये कैसे कैलकुलेट करूंगा मैं? Suppose this is x.
A
How can I
minus
find
x.
this x? X will be
A minus
y,
x.
sorry,
A
a
minus
minus 1 plus 2.
1
Do you agree?
plus 2. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Now I
Yes,
will
sir.
check the diameter of my crank pin. Suppose diameter of crank pin
Yes,
is
sir.
z. Okay. By inside micrometer, I have just showed you how to check the diameter. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this I have already figured out. So x
X
minus z
minus
will
z.
give me clearance.
Yes, sir.
Is it understood? Now वहां पे आप ये x y z नहीं बोलोगे, ठीक है, in front of surveyor, but you have to say the procedure that I've told you. Is it clear? Simply if he
सर ये
asks how will you simply if he asks how will you take the crank pin bearing clearance, you just go, sir, we will put the filler gauge forward and aft and we will check the clearance. If he goes,
clear.
suppose if the con rod is kept in front of your engine is completely overhauled and you want to figure out what is the clearance, how will you do it, then this is the one that you have to say. ठीक है? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
सर एक चीज ये आपने बोला ये कॉन रॉड का पहले आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर से मेजर करेंगे.
Con rod का आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर, यस आउटसाइड है ना, वैल्यूज देखो ना, आउटसाइड है ना. इनसाइड क्या होता है? इनसाइड है मतलब इफ दिस इज समथिंग देन इनसाइड इज दिस वन.
यस सर.
इसका एरो मार्क्स देखो कहाँ की तरफ है, आउटसाइड की तरफ है ना. सो
हाँ जी,
दैट
हाँ
इज
जी.
आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर. ठीक है. आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर से आप अपना लाइनर कैलिब्रेशन करते हो. लाइनर
हाँ सर. हाँ,
कैलिब्रेशन,
हाँ.
हाँ लाइनर
हाँ सर. हाँ
कैलिब्रेशन
सर. हाँ सर. हाँ
रहता
सर,
है.
उसके अंदर डाल के वो बोथ
It is
एंड
going
में सर वो.
outside, right? Inside
हाँ सर.
micrometer will look like this. ठीक है. This will be outside micrometer. These tools you might have seen on board, right?
हाँ सर, वो लाइनर में डालते हैं सर,
Yes,
ओवरऑल
sir.
यूनिट ओवरऑल के टाइम पे.
Yeah. ठीक है. Micrometer. So is it understood? Big and bearing part.
Yes, sir.
This is very easy. Okay. Gudgeon pin bearing can be taken by filler gauge. The loaded part will be
Bottom.
बॉटम.
so clearance taken at
टॉप.
Upper. Top.
taken by filler gauge. ठीक है. So इसमें अच्छे से नहीं दिख रहा.
So just उसके ऊपर वाला.
यहाँ पे है ना इतना अच्छा फोटो है. This is not resized. You can see it over here. What I've done on the, what do you say, this thing,
Gudgeon pin.
I have inserted the gudgeon pin on my con rod, which is outside. Okay. And I am putting the filler gauge inside. Is it clear?
यस सर.
To check the
So by removing
clearance.
the circlip, you're doing this one. By removing the circlip.
By removing the circlip means piston से separate करने के लिए. From piston you have to separate, then you have to take the outer circlip, right? It is after overhauling. ठीक है. So right now suppose your crank pin is separately kept, your your connecting rod is separately correct, kept, your gudgeon pin is separately kept. You lift up your gudgeon pin, clean it, okay, bearing को clean करो, and then you insert the gudgeon pin inside the bearing. This is my small end bearing जो ऊपर है, agreed? It is a shell bearing, ठीक है? So you have to insert it inside first of all. Pin को insert कर दो. So load will be always be acting here. Pin का कहाँ load act करेगा? Bottom पे,
बॉटम पे।
ठीक है? Suppose this is my big end part. This is my small end part. ठीक है? And now I will insert the my gudgeon pin inside. ठीक है? Can I take the clearance here by filler gauge now? Tell me. Can I take the clearance by filler gauge? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Is it
Yes,
understood to
sir.
you? Is
हाँ
it
जी, हाँ
understood?
जी।
Okay. Now let us discuss. Sometimes they asked without overhauling time. Okay. Let me just drink some water and come. Just give me 1 minute. Huh? All right, guys. Everything's clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Yes,
सर
sir.
Any
सर
questions? Hmm.
सर अब एक चीज ऊपर ही मैं भी थोड़ा विजुअलाइज नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ। वो जो आपने एक कॉन डॉट का फोटो दिखाया था, उसमें जो
Yes.
ऊपर वाला आपने समझाया उसमें, तो उसमें ये जो आपने बोला ना कि आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर से लेंगे, तो मतलब जो वो कॉन डॉट के अंदर जहाँ वो अपना जर्नल आएगा और जहाँ अपना रैंक पिन आएगा, तो उसके अंदर से मतलब वो आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर अंदर लगा के फिर दोनों लेंगे ना, फिर बेयरिंग का मेजर करके दोनों और फिर उसमें सब्ट्रैक्ट कर देंगे ना, ऐसा आप बोल रहे थे?
एक मिनट.
जो आपने एक ऐसे मतलब एक क्या आपने फोटो लिया था सर, आपने वो जमीन पे रखा हुआ था कॉन सर, वो दिखाया था इमेज आपने।
Hold on, यहाँ पे दिखा देता हूँ मैं आपको. ये देखो. He is taking here.
हाँ जी
ठीक है.
सर, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
विच पेज इट विल बी नाउ. ठीक है, उसको छोड़ते हैं. बट आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे मैं आउटसाइड माइक्रोमीटर लगा के देख सकता हूँ व्हाट इज माय डायमीटर.
यस सर,
ठीक
यस
है.
सर। हाँ जी, हाँ
बट
जी, हाँ जी।
जब bearings will be inserted inside, that diameter will reduce. Agreed?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
So bearings का diameter I have to reduce from here. Now inside this crank pin is going,
यस सर।
then I have to reduce the crank pin diameter from that. So whatever will be left, that will be clearance.
यस सर, क्लियरेंस सर।
Understood?
हाँ जी सर,
Now
अभी
understood?
समझ लो, थैंक यू। हाँ जी, समझ लो।
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go further then. Now condition is given that you cannot overhaul the engine. Okay. ना ऐसा भी हो सकता है ना, लाइक योर चीफ इन टोल्ड यू ओके टेल मी व्हाट इज माय बिग एंड बेरिंग क्लियरेंस चेक करके बताओ। सो आप वहां जाके इंजन तो नहीं खोलना शुरू हो जाओगे ना, इजंट इट?
नहीं सर।
सो फॉर बिग एंड जस्ट इंसर्ट फिलर गेज, जो ऊपर बताया आपको, राइट? फिलर गेज इंसर्ट करो while keeping your piston to BDC, piston BDC पे है, and then you can insert both the ways, ठीक है, just like your main engine you did it, agreed? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
ये फोटो दिखाया था ना आपको मैंने, नीचे डालो यहाँ पे, ठीक है, between the
नीचे
bearing
yes,
and your pin.
pin.
So this is very simple. Then we come to main bearing. Now this is tricky, and this is, very difficult to do. Nobody is doing it in this way, ठीक है? It is very, अगर गलत किया तो it can damage also bearings, main bearings and your pin also, ठीक है? So suppose this is my crankshaft.
सर इस पहले वाले पॉइंट में जब हम लोग बीडीसी पे रखेंगे पिस्टन को, तब भी उस टाइम पे ये लोडेड पार्ट टॉप ही रहेगा ना?
Always bottom ना, loaded part will always be top ना of your
हाँ वही
big
सर,
end.
हाँ तो वही पूछ रहा हूँ। ओके
So
ओके,
clearance will be bottom.
व्हाट मीन वही पूछ रहा था। ओके
So suppose this is my main bearing. Where will be the clearance in main bearing?
टॉप।
टॉप सर।
तो ये clearance है, agreed?
यस सर।
ये सर।
Now you have to use a dial gauge here, okay, and you have to use jacks, okay? So what you have to do, I will just erase this and extend it further, okay? And suppose these are the webs for the other unit. This one, okay? What I will do is I will put hydraulic jack here. I will put hydraulic jack over here.
सर एक चीज पूछ सकता हूँ क्या
बोलो।
इसी में? सर जैसे बिग एंड बेरिंग मतलब अपना पिन में सर अपना लोडेड पॉट तो टॉप होता है ना सर, तो
यस,
और हम लोग लेते हैं बॉटम में। तो
करेक्ट।
ये किस कंडीशन में सर, मतलब जब बीडीसी में होगा ना सर, तो मतलब पूरा वेट डाउन होगा, तो उस कंडीशन में आप बता रहे हो ना सर ये?
Any position you take, always it will be acting on top only. The load will always be acting on the top. Top में आप clearance नहीं ले पाओगे. The bearing will be touching your pin.
वो आपने बोला था
Suppose
मोनोब्लॉक स्ट्रक्चर है क्योंकि वो जगह नहीं होती वो।
वो मैंने बोला कि मेन बेरिंग का क्लियरेंस यू कैन नॉट टेक इट बाय फिलर गेज, मेन बेरिंग क्लियरेंस है ना? I
हाँ
did I
ठीक है, ये
use
तो
any filler gauge there while taking
नहीं नहीं,
main
वो
bearing?
लेड बॉल, लेड
Yeah,
बॉल।
because there is no space to put a hand there and to put a filler gauge to take the clearance. That is why I told you lead ball method. Clear?
यस सर।
Now what I will do is I will use two hydraulic jacks. These jacks are different from the jacks that you are putting onto your studs and all, right?
यस सर।
Car ke jacks, I think everyone might have seen car jacks,
यस सर।
right? What is this?
सर हाइड्रोलिक जैक। हाँ सर।
ठीक है, ये भी चलेगा, नहीं तो नॉर्मली व्हाट वी हैव ना, यहाँ पे जो येलो कलर का दिख रहा है आपको, these kind of jacks are there on board. ठीक है, is it clear?
यस
This
सर।
yellow color part, okay, bottle jack. So these kind of jacks are there, and यहाँ पे आपका एक हैंडल जाता है इसके अंदर. If you keep pushing the handle up and down, it will lift up the thing. You can see it over here. Okay, so this is the handle. You have to put it inside, and if you keep checking it up, this rod is going to lift up. ठीक है?
यस सर।
So these jacks you are going to increase the pressure, and but right now you will not increase. You will just put it there. ठीक है? And you have to do one thing, that you have to use a dial gauge now. So dial gauge, one end will be mounted onto the body, okay, of your engine, okay. Suppose this is my engine. यहाँ पे body पे I will put the hydraulic jack. Is it clear? यहाँ पे कहीं पे. Is it clear on the body? ठीक है. And I am going to put the dial gauge with pointer pointing on top of my journal. Is it clear? Is it clear? बोलो guys.
यस सर।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. This is known as journal ना.
हाँ सर।
Okay. And I will set the dial gauge to
जीरो
0.
जीरो।
ठीक है. Dial gauge. Obviously, at this moment, indicator cocks and all those things are open. Okay, that is understood to everyone. Okay. Now I will start increasing both the hydraulic jack pressure simultaneously. So your crankshaft will lift up,
यस सर।
and there will be a point when crankshaft will come here. Your journal will come here. Agreed? इससे ऊपर जा पाएगा journal? Are you able to visualize? I am lifting the whole crankshaft up by the hydraulic jack. So right now it is resting on the bottom bearing. So it will lift up and it will touch the top bearing. Yeah, thank you. So what was I was saying is that this was your condition. Your dial deflection gauge is resting on top of your journal. You have set the dial gauge to 0, and now your hydraulic jacks on the adjacent webs, you have mounted it, and now you are going to lift up your complete crankshaft up until it is going to touch the top half. So after it touches the top half, it will not go further up. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Because top half is connected to your monoblock structure.
मोनोब्लॉक स्ट्रक्चर।
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it will not go more than that. So as soon as your deflection stops of your dial gauge, that particular deflection will be your clearance value. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
You have to obviously understand one thing, that you have to do in steps. Okay? Steps पे करना है. This process always has to be done in steps. Like once you start increasing the pressure, you will start getting deflection in your dial gauge. Okay? 0.01, 0.02. Like this deflection will keep on coming. So slowly, you have to, suppose यहाँ पे पहुंच गया 0.4, 0.45, 0.450. I don't have to go further. It's ऊपर जैक नहीं करूंगा मैं. If it stops, same reading आ गया दो बार, that means my crankshaft is not moving further up, isn't it? So I will stop at that point itself. ठीक है? Very slowly this process has to be done, and at the point that your dial deflection gauge movement stops, that is your clearance. Is it clear? बोलो, is it clear guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I will talk about big and bearing. I'm only hearing one voice right now. Please, guys, tell me if you're not able to understand, not able to visualize, please let me know.
Understood, sir.
Okay. Now, big end part. Certain engines you will not be able to put filler gauge also in the big end part. Okay. Mostly it will be able to go. Okay. But sometimes surveys will ask you, without filler gauge, how will you take it without overhauling? Okay. Filler gauge के बिना बताओ कैसे लोगे. Same way you have to do it here. Okay. Suppose this is my top half, bottom half. Taking this is goals. And this is my contour. So this is the big end. Agreed?
yes sir.
ठीक है. Now clearance कहाँ रहता है?
लोअर
बॉटम
बॉटम
टॉप पे सर, टॉप पे।
टॉप तो लोडेड रहेगा ना.
हाँ,
बॉटम
क्लियरेंस
बॉटम
बॉटम
पे
पे रहेगा सर, क्लियरेंस
Loaded.
बॉटम पे रहेगा।
So bottom you will be having clearance. ठीक है. Indicator cocks are open and all those things are understood. You are going to put a hydraulic jack over here. ठीक है. And on the body of your engine, you mount a dial deflection gauge with its pointer pointing on top of your top half of the
ये बिगिन।
end. ठीक है. Top half of the bearing housing. Now, straight similar to that, the previous what we have discussed. If I start increasing the pressure slightly, धीरे धीरे, this will lift up complete.
हाँ सर।
यस सर.
My crankshaft will remain in its position only. Agreed?
यस सर.
There will be one point when the bottom half is going to touch my pin.
यस सर.
As soon as it touches, your deflection stops. Agreed?
तो इसमें
Deflection stop हो
इसमें भी
जाएगा.
लूज करेंगे क्या?
यस सर.
What?
इसमें भी लूज करेंगे क्या बॉटम हाफ को सर?
नहीं, लूज कुछ नहीं करना है. The condition is like you cannot do anything, right? You're not
ओके सर।
allowed to use to remove the caps and all. So what I'm doing is I have just put a hydraulic jack on the bottom of my crankcase. Okay. My engine is at BDC at the moment. Okay. Sorry, TDC at the moment. Not TDC. Yes, you can keep it at TDC also. Whatever you keep, it will not be effective. Okay. BDC पे रखो. Put a dial gauge set to 0. Okay. The dial gauge pointer should be on top half of the bearing housing. Okay. That should be understood. Now, once you start giving the pressure, this complete con rod will try to lift up against my crank pin. Crank pin will remain in its position.
यस सर।
Once the bottom half touches your crank pin, any further movement will be restricted.
यस सर।
Whatever deflection you're getting on your dial deflection gauge, will that be my clearance?
यस सर।
So is it understood? How
हाँ
to
जी।
take clearances and all?
हाँ जी।
सर डायल गेज को हम लोग बॉटम हाफ में नहीं लगा सकते, क्योंकि बॉटम हाफ ही तो
Bottom-
बेसिकली मूव कर रहा है.
अरे तो दोनों एक साथ ही मूव होगा ना. It is
माउंटेड टुगेदर ना।
bottom half भी साथ में ही मूव करेगा ना with top half.
हाँ सर.
ठीक है. आप बॉटम हाफ में
ठीक है
रख लो, बट प्री लोड करना पड़ेगा काफी ज्यादा. ठीक है. You have to preload
ओके
it.
सर.
Okay. Also, this is also has to be done in steps. Huh? You cannot just कितना भी pressure देते रहो. No. Very slightly you have to keep on giving small pressure, and you see if your deflection is changing or not. Once it stops changing, stop at that point. That whatever deflection it is showing you, that is your clearance. Is it understood?
यस
हाँ
सर.
जी सर।
सर एक बार वो पॉइंट बताएंगे, स्टेप स्टेप में करने का मतलब फिर से एक बार थोड़ा थोड़ा.
Steps का करने का मतलब ये है कि I don't want to damage my crank pin or the bearings. ठीक है. That is
जी
why
सर.
suppose my clearance is 0.4 mm. ठीक है. So I will increase the pressure in such very slowly so that मेरा reading जो what I'm getting on my what do you say this dial deflection gauge,
डाल
it will
deflection
increase slowly 0.05 0.01
तो जैक भी बहुत स्लोली स्लोली मूव करता है ना, तो फिर उससे.
yeah you have to be sure that कि आप बहुत
ओके
excessive
सर.
pressure ना दे दो, because otherwise bearing damage होने के chances रहते हैं. Agreed?
हाँ सर.
And your
हाँ
crank pin. That is why we are doing in steps में rise करेंगे हम pressure. Okay. Suppose I
यस.
gave 5 bar pressure, then I gave 10 bar pressure. ठीक है. Like this. Slowly I am giving pressure and checking correspondingly if the values are changing in my dial deflection gauge or not. If it stops at that point, whatever the clearance is, that is your reading is in the dial deflection gauge, that is your clearance. Is it clear?
Clear, sir, clear.
Okay. So this is regarding your clearances part. Okay. This is how you're going to take clearances in your engine and all. Okay. Normally, they will ask you the easier part, that is by taking the filler gauge and all those things. But sometimes some of the surveyors, are थोड़ा बहुत ट्रिकी रहते हैं, ठीक है, या चिढ़ जाएंगे तो वो ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, भाई बिना खोले बताओ, खोल के बताओ कैसे करना है, ठीक है, जैसे ये वाला हो गया, इसको कैसे खोल के लेना है, बिग एंड पार्ट विदाउट ओपनिंग is by filler gauge, but they can say, okay, filler gauge वाला method नहीं, कोई और method बताओ, and there's any other method, so you can go for the hydraulic वाला, ठीक है, straight away don't go for the hydraulic pump and all those things, ठीक है, आप just see what he is trying to ask you. If he is just asking you clearances बताओ, how will you take it, then simple is for the big end I can put
सर
the
वो ऐसे
clearance like
पूछते हैं
filler gauge, right?
ये सर सब पहले वो लोग पता है क्या पूछते हैं, सर वो पहले
Yes.
पूछते हैं कि कौन से इंस्ट्रूमेंट से लोगे, फिर अगर हम लोग डायरेक्टली अगर ये बता दिए ना तो वो इससे बोलेगा ठीक है इससे कैसे लोगे, अगर हम लोग बोले फिलर गेज से लेंगे तो वो फिलर गेज पूछते हैं, तो वैसे हम लोग
So
उनको मतलब डायरेक्ट कर
I
सकते हैं.
will that is what I'm suggesting you go for the easiest one for first, okay, but sometimes surface specifically बोलता है आपको without the filler gauge how will you take big end bearing clearance, so either you go for this hydraulic wala method or either you go for the overhauling wala method, but if he says no I don't want to overhaul, then you go for the hydraulic wala method. Is it clear? Just for suppose you are overhauling the engine, then you can take it by that
हाँ जी
method,
सर।
right?
Yes.
So
सर सर इसमें डायल गेज कैसे माउंट किया एक बार बता सकते हो?
dial gauge is mounted like suppose this is the body, ठीक है, dial gauge में एक magnetic leg रहता है ना, agreed, there is a magnetic leg on the dial gauge, एक तरफ, this magnetic leg will stick to your what do you say, any metal, ठीक है,
ऑन द
तो
स्ट्रक्चर।
वो मेटल मैंने यहाँ पे लगा दिया, ठीक है, बॉडी पे कहीं पे भी, और उसका जो पिन है, ओके, द पिन ऑफ दैट डायल गेज आई एम गोइंग टू पुट ऑन द टॉप हाफ ऑफ योर बेरिंग हाउसिंग, है ना, जैसे मान लो आई विल पुट इट हेयर समवेयर एंड टॉप हाउसिंग पे मैंने उसका पिन लगा दी. इज इट क्लियर?
यस सर क्लियर.
सो ब्रिज वाला ना, so this is another way to check the main bearing clearance, ठीक है, it is taken by bridge gauge and depth gauge, ठीक है, both will be used, so it is normally used in Sulzer engines, ठीक है, Sulzer में होता है ये motor one, this way, ठीक है, normally we are using it in Sulzer engines bridge gauge method, ठीक है, to check the main bearing clearance. तो अगर जब तक वो स्पेसिफिकली आपको बोले ना टेल मी अबाउट द ब्रिज गेज मेथड, देन यू डोंट गो फॉर दिस, ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर? बट दोज हु हैव डन सल्जर इंजन्स यू हैव टू गो फॉर दिस मेथड ओनली, ठीक है, अदरवाइज गो फॉर टेलीस्कोपिक फिलर गेज बिकॉज दिस इज फॉर द मेन बेरिंग ओनली, मेन बेरिंग ऑफ मेन इंजन, ओके, इज इट क्लियर?
Yes sir, clear.
So this method is used in Sulzer two-stroke marine diesel engines where the bearing shell is removed along with the bearing keep. Okay, so top half you have to remove completely. After that, you are going to put this bridge. This is a special instrument given, in the special tools. This bridge gauge will be given. You have to keep it in such a way that the foot of this bridge is mounting or on resting on the transverse grider of the bed plate. So this is the transverse grider, right? So you have to put the bridge gauge here. You have removed the upper half. Agreed? And there will be a hole on top from where you will put a depth gauge. डेप्थ गेज यू माइट अंडरस्टैंड बाय वर्नियर कैलिपर का जो पीछे का लेग रहता है, कभी उसी से भी लेते हैं हम, राइट?
यस सर।
आई कैन शो यू somewhere. I was checking this clearance. What is it? Yeah. You see, I'm using this to check the distance after tightening and all. Okay. So I'm checking. This is kind of a depth, right? Kind of a depth gauge now. Agreed? You can see. Okay. So this is kind of a depth gauge.
यस
So
सर।
similarly, a depth gauge is provided to you. Okay. And what do you say? This one, your bridge gauge is provided to you. You have to remove the top half of the bearing keep in the main bearing, okay, along with the bearing, and then you're going to mount your bridge gauge in such a way that the legs of the bridge gauge will rest on the transverse grider of the bed plate. Okay, you can see after the bridge is fitted over the top of the journal pin from port and starboard, making a bridge over the crankshaft with two ends supported on the cross girders. That means your transverse girders जो हैं आपके बैक प्लेट के. So on top
सर
of
ये
this
भेज
here,
भेज दीजिए सर ग्रुप में।
what?
ये ये नोट्स जो है आपको ग्रुप में भेज दीजिएगा सर।
All right, all right. So you just put it on that. Okay. Now you will insert a. Suppose this is my bearing. Okay. Suppose this is the bearing, and this is the
जनरल।
pin. Okay. Now you will insert the depth gauge. So you will get certain reading. बोलो, कुछ रीडिंग मिलेगा आपको यहाँ पे
सर
दिस
मतलब ये
पार्ट.
बेरिंग हाउसिंग हटा के, बेरिंग हाउसिंग ऊपर वाला पार्ट हटा के उसके ऊपर ये ब्रिज की तरह माउंट कर देंगे ना?
यस. ठीक है. सो आपको कुछ रीडिंग मिलेगा. सपोज वाई एम एम मिला आपको रीडिंग. ठीक है. इन द ब्रिज गेज यू गॉट वाई एम एम. Now you will see previously how much reading was it. Suppose it was XM. So obviously XMM will be higher than the uh, sorry, lower than their YM because wear out होगा थोड़ा पिन नीचे जाएगा. Agreed.
यस सर,
If the bearing
यस
is
सर,
going to wear out, the pin is going to go down. So your Y is going to increase. Agreed.
यस सर,
ठीक है. Then your X. So आपको compare करना है previous reading से how much wear down has happened. Okay. This is not giving you the clearance actually. It is giving you how much wear down of your bearing has happened. Is it clear?
यस सर।
Okay. Now you can find out with that how much is your clearance. Okay. Mathematics, simple mathematics. But you can see here a simple vernier depth gauge is then inserted in the hole provided on the bridge, and a scale of depth gauge is rested on the crank pin because this the scale will go down and rest on the pin ना. पिन पे जाके टच होगा क्रैंक पिन अपना मेन
यस
जर्नल
सर,
पे, राइट? सो एंड वट एवर रीडिंग यू विल सी ओवर हेयर, दैट रीडिंग यू विल कंपेयर इट विद द प्रीवियसली टेकन रीडिंग्स. सो उससे आपको पता चलेगा हाउ मच योर क्रैंकशाफ्ट हैज सेटल्ड डाउनवर्ड्स. सो सेटल डाउन कब होगा? जब बेरिंग वेयर आउट होगा तभी होगा ना.
यस सर।
Okay. So the total depth of the scale is measured and compared with the previous readings and the readings in the manual for calculation of the wear down of the bearing. Okay. So it is giving you the wear down of the bearing, depth gauge or bridge gauge. Okay. So bridge gauge is used in together with the depth gauge to find out the main bearing wear out. Is it clear?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
अभी
in
आप एक
case of
मिनट, एक 1 minute. In old
yes, sir.
engines, okay, in old model Sulzer engines, a collar was provided in the bearing shell along with a small hole. Now उसमें क्या था? You don't have to, in old engines you don't have to remove the top shell. उन्होंने टॉप बेयरिंग जो हाउसिंग थी उसमें एक फ्लैंज दिया हुआ था आपको. ठीक है. विद 4 bolts. So you have to remove this flange. Once you remove this flange there will be a hole. एक होल दिखेगा आपको. Now again you will put a depth your bridge gauge and you will take the reading again. So in that case you don't have to remove top half of your main bearing and your pin. Is it clear? Or your housing? You can see next what they have written. In old engines, Sulzer engines, a collar is provided in the bearing shell along with a small hole. Thus, without removing the keep, that means the top housing, the bridge is fitted adjacent to the keep and depth gauge is used from the hole provided in the shell to measure the wear down. Okay.
So
Is
this
it
is by the
understood?
depth, sir, this is by the depth gauge, right?
डेप्थ गेज एंड योर ब्रिज गेज दोनों साथ में ही यूज होगा ब्रिज गेज इज जस्ट आपको यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम समवेयर राइट एक
हाँ सर,
रेफरेंस चाहिए इजंट इट सो ब्रिज गेज इज प्रोवाइडिंग दैट रेफरेंस टू यू बट द रीडिंग विल बी टेकन बाय डेप्थ गेज ओनली ठीक है
so normally in man BMW engines also we are using this depth gauge, like removing this oil pipe and we putting the depth gauge and
यस इन
taking this
मैन
depth.
बीडब्ल्यू इंजन्स आल्सो व्हाट यू कैन डू इज क्लियरेंस के लिए तो मैंने आपको बता दिया ठीक है व्हाट एल्स यू कैन डू सो you have seen in this video right there was ये पाइप दिख रहा है आपको दिस इज द मेन बेरिंग लूब ऑयल पाइप ठीक है
Yes
दिस इज
sir.
फ्रॉम द
Yes,
वेयर
sir.
माय लूब ऑयल इज गोइंग इनसाइड राइट सो आई हैव टू
Yes.
डिसमेंटल दिस फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ठीक है रिमूव दिस bolts when I remove these bolts okay when I'm going to remove these bolts I will be able to see the hole from where the oil is flowing inside agreed
Yes, sir.
okay now this is my pin this is the bearing टॉप बेयरिंग में भी होल रहेगा ना ऑयल जाने के लिए एग्रीड सेंटर में होल रहेगा and the bottom bearing and all okay so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert again a depth gauge there okay depth gauge insert karunga and I will see similar to your Sulzer engines okay yahan pe I don't have to use a bridge gauge and all those things okay I can directly put a depth gauge on the flat surface okay and I will see how much my journal has dropped down so it will drop down when the bearings are going to wear out isn't it
Yes sir.
so it will give me the indication how much bearing wear down has taken place okay
Yes
is
sir.
it clear
Yes sir, clear.
okay same way like how you've done in Sulzer same way we are doing it over here okay so that is it for your bearing clearances class okay I can show you this is your telescopic filler gauge no? See main
Sir,
bearing clearance of a
telescopic.
two-stroke crosshead engine are measured using a set of detachable filler gauges sometimes also known as Swedish filler gauge okay or telescopic filler gauge the clearance is measured at the top of the bearing and to obtain access the engine is first turned to so that crank web is horizontal so that you can sit on top of it right that's why I told you 90-degree by sitting on the crank web the Swedish filler gauge can be slid down the gap between the webs and the bearing okay and then you are going to I told you maximum how much you should put maximum 20 mm
20
not more than
mm.
that okay, not more than that the clearance can be measured by examining the filler gauge into the gap between the journal and the bearing the filler gauge should be fully detachable before the attempting we are not to be chance of clearance gap. Clearance values will depend upon the size of the engine, obviously. Okay, but for a normal 980 bore engine, the clearance is between 4.45 to 0.75. I've given you the clearances value. Okay, main engine का पूछते रहते हो. So this is how your clearances has been taken. Okay, so I've given you the very basic part of it. Okay, normally they sometime asks you किसी एक bearing का पूछ लेंगे ठीक है क्लियरेंस कैसे लेना है so will you be
सर एक
able to
क्वेश्चन
answer
बता दीजिए सर,
हाँ बोलो
बो टू स्ट्रोक
wait
रेशियो
wait
बता
wait
दीजिए सर थोड़ा.
wait first of all this is clear to everyone guys
Yes, sir.
okay चलो so tell me क्या क्वेश्चन
बो बो टू स्ट्रोक रेशियो कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे सर?
go to stroke ratio okay it will take time a little bit but चलो कल बताऊं इसको ठीक है already we have done 2 hours ठीक है
ओके सर.
go
सर वो
to stroke
पिस्टन
ratio
क्लियरेंस
and
के बारे में बता देते सर, वो बट क्लियरेंस है.
बाबा it is a big topic yeah piston clearances and all I've taken it वेरी एक्सटेंसिवली पिस्टन एंड पिस्टन रिंग्स। ठीक है, एक बार चेकआउट करो, नहीं समझ आता तो बोलना मेरे को। ठीक है।
Sir, got a small question.
हाँ
When you're doing the generator overhauling, so we are going to take the clearances of the bearing, sorry, piston rings, new piston rings.
यस
So by using of filler gauge, we are doing, right?
करेक्ट।
But surveyors are not accepting that thing when we are saying this. So they're
क्या
not
क्वेश्चन
saying,
पूछा,
okay,
क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा?
you're going to overhaul a generator. So you're having the new piston rings. So you want to take the thickness.
थिकनेस, तो thickness is taken by
हाँ,
filler, not filler gauge. Thickness is taken by vernier caliper. It is taken, मैंने भी लिया है।
sorry, vernier caliper, not filler gauge.
वर्नियर कैलिपर ही बोल रहा हूँ। ठीक है, यू हैव टू रिमूव दिस एंड यू हैव टू मेजर थिकनेस। इनका थिकनेस का वैल्यूज दिया रहता है आप। ठीक है, 0.6 mm और लाइक दिस 1.6 mm। आई डोंट रिमेम्बर राइट नाउ थिकनेस वैल्यूज, मैं दिखा दूंगा कल मैनुअल में आपको। यू हैव टू टेक द थिकनेस, कितना थिकनेस है इन एवरी पिस्टन रिंग।
हाँ, okay, sir.
ठीक है, यू ऑल्सो हैव टू चेक द ग्रूव हाइट। ठीक है, दिस इज आफ्टर इंसर्टिंग हाउ मच एक्सियल, दिस इज ओनली एक्सियल क्लियरेंस आई एम टेकिंग, इजंट इट, राइट नाउ? What I'm
Yes,
taking
sir.
at this picture, I'm taking the axial clearance. I'm not checking the piston ring right here. Agreed. So I have taken this extensively in piston and piston ring classes. Please go through it once. Okay. And
Yes,
if
sir.
some doubt comes, then you can ask me. Okay.